President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Tinubu are addressing the closing of the binational commission. Let's listen in.
Can we put it directly in front of the student? Can we put it directly in front of
Right, those are live visuals coming there from Cape Town. That's where South Africa and Nigeria are this year marking 30 years of diplomatic relations established in February 1994. Of course, earlier we heard from President Cyril Ramaphosa also officiating and officially launching South Africa's G20 presidency at Parliament. He is expected then to address this closing session of the binational Council and Commission. We'll hear from him and Bola Tinubu from Nigeria in a moment as those discussions are yet to begin. Of course, we've been hearing from various analysts about the importance of the bilateral relations with the West African region. Of course, South Africa regards Nigeria as a strategic partner in as far as this is concerned. We'll take you there as soon as those proceedings begin.
Come back here. Whilst you were away, we were continuing to do the work that we've been asked to do by our various peoples. We're now going to ask two ministers of international and foreign relations to sign the binational minutes. We have already adopted the minutes, and we now want them to sign these minutes as a clear sign of the continued good relationship between our two countries. Please, ministers, go ahead and attach your beautiful signatures to the minutes. Thank you. Let's exchange the minutes.
So can we move on this side there, on this side there? Yeah, thank you. Stay down. Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Minister. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, these minutes that have been signed contain various areas on which agreement, or rather decisions, have been taken. A lot of decisions were taken following the discussions that were held between representatives of the Republic of South Africa and the Federal Republic of Nigeria through our officials as well as our ministers. We are now going to ask Minister Lamula to go ahead and read the communique as adopted between the two countries and the two leaders. Go ahead, Minister.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. The joint communique on the occasion of the 11th session of the South Africa-Nigeria Binational Commission, 3rd December 2024, Cape Town, South Africa. At the invitation of His Excellency Madamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, paid a working visit to South Africa on the 3rd of December 2024 to co-chair the 11th session of the Binational Commission, BNC, between the two countries. The BNC was preceded by a meeting of senior officials on the 28th and the 29th of November 2024, and the ministers' meeting on the 2nd of December 2024. The heads of state and government recalled the existing deep fraternal relations between the two nations and once more acknowledged the strong support that Nigeria provided to the liberation movements in South Africa during South Africa's struggle for freedom and democracy. This 11th session of the BNC also marks the 30th anniversary of formal establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The two heads of state and government renewed their commitment to work closely to broaden and sustain the two nations' bilateral relationship in a manner that enhances strategic cooperation and partnership for mutual benefit. In this regard, the heads of state and government directed the various ministers, departments and agencies to deepen their cooperation in the context of the BNC. The heads of state and government acknowledged the more than 34 agreements covering various sectors which have been signed since the establishment of the diplomatic relations between the two countries in 1994. The two leaders underscored the need to urgently finalize the MOU on the early warning mechanisms. To this end, it was agreed that the MOU will be signed not later than March 2025. During the visit of the South Africa's Minister of International Relations and Public Relations in Nigeria for political consultations, the two leaders also welcomed the ongoing negotiations to conclude other new agreements. It was agreed that the heads of state and government welcomed the high levels of economic cooperation between the two countries. In this regard, they welcomed the significant investments of South African companies in Nigeria and encouraged corresponding Nigerian investments in the South African economy. The leaders recognized the need for the two countries to create an enabling business environment in both countries. The two leaders agreed to encourage cooperation and partnership between private and public entities for investment in mining, infrastructure development, and in trade, roads, ports, amongst others. In this regard, Nigeria invited South Africa's development finance institutions to partner with Nigeria in co-financing infrastructure projects. The heads of state and government made a commitment to work towards increased and balanced trade between the two countries by utilizing the opportunities provided by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the AfCFTA. Both South Africa and Nigeria have ratified the AfCFTA. The two countries also agreed to collaborate on programs that address mutual challenges in food and nutrition security, strengthening meaningful digital connectivity, taking leadership in the development of artificial intelligence, expanding digital literacy initiatives, as well as prioritizing data protection and online safety for all citizens. The two leaders welcomed the convening of the South Africa-Nigeria Business Roundtable being held on the margins of the 11th session of the BNC, during which they will have an opportunity to address and engage with chief executives of companies from both countries. The heads of state and government also exchanged views on regional, continental, and global issues of mutual concern. Nigeria highlighted its efforts and those of ECOWAS in fostering and promoting peace and security in West Africa. South Africa also outlined efforts undertaken by the Southern African Development Community in supporting peace initiatives in both the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and the northern part of Mozambique. The delegations also underscored the need to redouble efforts to realize the African Union Agenda 2063 aspirations to silence the guns. In this regard, the heads of state and government expressed concern at the devastating conflict in Sudan, which has resulted in the loss of lives, destruction of infrastructure and property, and humanitarian crisis. The heads of state and government also reflected on the upcoming elections for the leadership of the African Union Commission and underscored the need for the election of the leadership that will be responsive to the challenges facing the African continent. The two countries further exchanged views on international developments, particularly the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, and called for a ceasefire in Gaza and increased access to humanitarian aid. The heads of state and government reiterated their principled position that the only long-lasting solution to the resolution of the conflict is to advance a two-state solution where Israel will exist side by side in peace and in harmony with a viable and fully independent Palestinian state, in line with the United Nations resolutions. Nigeria commended South Africa for taking the case of Israel and Palestine to the International Court of Justice. Similarly, the heads of state and government agreed to intensify support for the cause of Western Sahara for self-determination, freedom, and justice. The two heads of state and government further renewed their call for a responsive international system of governance through a reformed United Nations Security Council, respect for and promotion of universal human rights in a just and equitable world. South Africa congratulated Nigeria on the reappointment of Ms. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the Director General of the World Trade Organization. South Africa and Nigeria agreed to work closely together in international organizations and forums. Nigeria congratulated South Africa on its assumption of the G20 presidency on the 1st of December 2024 and commended South Africa on its priorities which address inclusive economic growth, industrialization, and the reduction of inequality, food security, artificial intelligence, data governance, and innovation. The heads of state and government committed to working closely with the African Union and each other to advance the Africa agenda in pursuit of the implementation of Agenda 2063. At the end of the 11th session of the Binational Commission, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu expressed his gratitude to His Excellency President Ramaphosa for the warm reception and hospitality accorded to him and his delegation since their arrival in Cape Town. I submit to Your Excellency.
Thank you, Minister Lamula. That is the communique as adopted by the two countries and the two leaders. I now, as we move to conclusion, would like to ask His Excellency President Tinubu to make his closing remarks.
Your Excellency, once again, thank you for the very warm hospitality accorded us, and thank the members of the delegation for a sound and deep concern for resolve on the Binational Commission. The communiques were accepted, and forward to the implementation. It's one thing to have a paper, it's another thing to implement successfully and get the result signed. We hold our continent in high esteem and we owe the success of this to humanity as a whole. For us in Nigeria, we are grateful for the support that we have received throughout our democratic journey, as I mentioned earlier. And the resolution in the communique reached here today is very well acceptable to us. I look forward to continue working with you, particularly in the reform of the United Nations Committee for Membership and various other medium of engagement that we might be mutually beneficial to the two countries. We, as members of the same family, joined by the hips as co-joined twins in the continent, we have no reason to fail or let down our people. And we have resolved never to do that. We're ready to work with you, Cyril, in any phase that you might consider necessary. We have to deepen, as our members have emphasized, deepen the trade and opportunity to develop our youths, exchange ideas, promote relationship that is mutually beneficial to the two folks. The challenge is for us as leaders to continue to implement with good governance the principle of democracy, freedom, and liberty throughout the world. Our sovereignty must be protected, and we will continue to do that with you. I once again appreciate the opportunities extended to many Nigerians here in South African Republic, and I assure you that you will continue to, the continent will continue to enjoy our cordial relations. Thank you for your concern on the ECOWAS, particularly 3 countries that are in disagreement with the leadership of ECOWAS, of which I am the chairman. But no matter how well you slice this, democracy is at the core of this matter. And there is no other means of governance that is better and valued as much as democracy. You've been through the twist and turn of democracy here in South Africa. You've seen and experienced how tough it is. But you navigated through it. I congratulate all of you. For me, I've been hard and intimidated and detained for the principle of what I believe in. But today, I carry the touch of that freedom, value, strong determination, and commitment to principle of justice and fairness. And I'm grateful I'm here as the president of my country. With you and I working together, I believe we can defeat and tame the turbulence around us. And we will, I promise. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency President Tinubu, ministers and officials, and all the members of the media and our High Commissioners, I wish to thank you, Your Excellency, for your very warm and positive concluding remarks. And let me also thank you for having been present at my inauguration following the formation of our Government of National Unity, which you have applauded in our tete-a-tete discussions. And I thank you once again for your visit here and for being present in this Binational Commission. Your remarks, Your Excellency, reinforce the strong bonds of friendship and solidarity between our two nations. The ministerial report we have received, as well as the communique that was read out by Minister Lamola, highlighted the deliberations that have ensued between our two nations through the various priorities that we intend to pursue as partners and as allies going forward. Our ministers and senior officials have done what I would term excellent work, and they really deserve a round of applause and congratulations. They have also provided a platform to accelerate cooperation between our two nations for mutual benefit of our peoples. We agreed that the implementation of various decisions is a key priority. We need to improve the monitoring as well as the evaluation mechanisms to expedite the implementation of the programs and the projects that both of us would like to see implemented. Fundamentally, South Africa and Nigeria must further expand investment between the two of us, as well as trade. We must fully explore the respective strengths and capabilities between the two countries. We seek to expand cooperation in oil and gas, aviation, telecommunications, ICT sector, digital economy, manufacturing, and financial services, retail and hospitality, amongst others. We must explore project financing for the development of our ports, of our roads and rail networks, as well as our logistic hubs. There are opportunities for collaboration also on renewable energy, including green hydrogen as well. As we pursue these opportunities, we need to continue to work as governments to improve the conditions for doing business between our two countries. In our discussions, we identified the enhancement of people-to-people contact. These relations between our two peoples are a great catalyst for investment, for trade, for tourism, and celebration of our diverse heritages. Heritages that span language, that span art, that span dress, that span food, that span everything that fuels the human condition. I am pleased with the deliberations we have held on regional, continental, as well as global issues of mutual interest. Our discussions in these areas do continue to illustrate the commitment of South Africa and Nigeria to pursue peace, stability, and development, not only on our continent but around the world as well. We both support the strengthening of the capacity of our regional bodies and the African Union in particular to deal with conflicts and wars within the context of the African peace and security architecture. We reaffirm that dialogue, mediation, and conflict resolution are fundamental pillars upon which countries should conduct relations. And you have also spoken fervently about a very important issue, which is democracy, that should be the glue that holds nations together. In conclusion, I wish to express my appreciation to Your Excellency and also appreciate the work that has been done by our ministers. This will provide the basis for the ministerial review session in 2025 and the 12th Binational Commission in 2026 that will be held in Nigeria. I look forward for the implementation of the signed legal instruments. Once again, Your Excellency, I accept my sincerest gratitude to yourself for honoring my invitation to come to South Africa here in Cape Town. And I wish you and your delegation good health and a safe journey back home. And I say, hamba kahle, zamaya hantle, moi luo, and good journey back home. Thank you, Your Excellency, but I also wish those who are holding cameras and those who are writing up stories, we wish you the very best as you do what you always do well, write wonderful stories about good progress that is made, particularly between the two countries. You could not get a better story than this one. And we wish you well as you go and write the story. Thank you very much.